Today's show is sponsored by CaskCartel.com, your premium spirits marketplace. It's so convenient. Go to CaskCartel.com, get your spirits shipped directly to your door. Yes, some of the allocated stuff is going to cost more, but it is a convenience play. You can sit at home. You don't have to go to a raffle. You don't have to camp out overnight. You can get premium spirits delivered directly to your door. And obviously those daily drinkers, they are going to be more on par with what you pay in the store. So check them out at CaskCartel.com and follow them on Instagram at CaskCartel. They're always doing awesome giveaways for their followers. Today's show is also sponsored by PremiumBarProducts.com, your number one source for laser etched glassware and barware. It is also the place you can go to get the official Dad's Drinking Bourbon Glencairn. What better gift to give someone than customized laser etched glassware? They have all sorts of glasses: the Glen, the Wee Glen, the Tua, the Neat Glass, the Tipsy Rocks glass, the Kenzie Dram. That's the one everybody wants to get. They have all sorts of glasses there, as well as bar tools. Go to PremiumBarProducts.com and check them out.
So I've been catching up on TV a little bit here lately. Network stuff. You know, it's not only my thing, but during football and stuff, I keep seeing these commercials. Apparently, The Rock is taking it to a whole new level of sellout. Have you seen this?
Which thing?
The Rock apparently is going to launch a TV show based on like his upbringing as a child and like high school, and I guess becoming a wrestler and an actor and stuff. Like, how many episodes can you possibly really get out of that?
A lot.
That are like actually interesting to grown ass men?
I find The Rock incredibly interesting. I mean, he is like an 18th generation wrestler who was good at football. He played for the U. You could do 4 seasons on the U alone, and then makes it in the WWF, now WWE, becomes one of the most electrifying characters they've ever had. Goes up against some of the best people, has some of the best matches, retires, and then becomes the number one movie star in the world.
Well, at least the previews are focused more on middle school and high school, and maybe a little bit of like the adult life, which I don't really think if you or I should want to watch it, should be on NBC probably.
I love how you say it's selling out. I mean, at this point, if the guy's going to make money, he's going to make money. I mean, capitalism, he's allowed to go do it. He's putting a product out there. If people start watching it and it gets ratings, he gets paid. He gets to continue having his show. If nobody watches it, it's done after a season. What's it really matter to you?
I know. It just, I don't know. For whatever reason, seeing it advertised over and over on NBC has rubbed me the wrong way.
This is why I don't watch TV.
But you do.
I watch Netflix, but I don't have to watch commercials or anything like that. Like, I watch a lot of nonfiction stuff. I watch a lot of documentaries.
Cobra Kai is nonfiction?
Cobra Kai is fiction, and that is what I do is I limit myself to 1 or 2 shows, and then I watch all documentaries. I can't do more than 1 or 2 shows. I can't invest.
Yeah, I mean, you can't binge more than 1 or 2 in a night with your schedule.
I can't binge any in a night with my schedule. Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards, and with me, as always, is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. I am still tired, Zeke Baker. What a hell of a weekend.
I know. You fought 2/5 of the battle I did.
I know. I did not do everything you did. It was your birthday weekend. It was your Super Sweet 16, and a lot happened on your Super Sweet 16 weekend, besides the fact that, like, you kept spamming our stories with like, hey, birthday week pour number 1, birthday week pour number 2, to the point where people kept saying, John, is it your birthday? And I said, no, my birthday's in April. You won't hear me talk about my birthday week or month, and you probably won't even hear me say that it's my birthday. Zeke somehow goes back and like has a Super Sweet 16 about it, wants everybody to know it's his birthday week.
Hey, I mean, the Wolfpack got together, 4 picks in 2 days.
This even started before the Wolfpack came. I mean, you were like at the whiskey
because I saw
house.
the stars lining up.
Now tell everybody about the picks you did on Friday.
So Friday, originally, we were doing bullet for the Wolfpack. And then Thursday evening, like late. So like 7:30, message comes through in a group. You guys want to pick a Blanton's in the morning? We got space on our pick. Like, okay, cool. What time is it? 10. Like Frankfurt, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm just not even going to get much sleep. Like, oof. Well, then Bivens, the guy I was going to ride with up there to begin with, he's like, oh man, I just had a whole bunch of hot chicken. I'm not sure how my night's going to go.
Bivens had to come up from Franklin. Bivens lives right near me. So add an extra half an hour for that poor guy. He had to get up at like 3 a.m. to get there for the pick.
I don't think he'd really gone to bed by 3. I think he might have been asleep on some porcelain. But either way, we get a message on the same group chat that just says, play like a champion, boys. I'm sure you'll do the right thing. Guess we're going to Frankfurt at the butt crack of dawn. So we roll out super early, make it to Buffalo Trace. In true Flight Club style, somehow for a Blanton's pick, they have 5 barrels.
That's because Benton asked for 2 extra.
Literally, I'm like, you realize you could have rolled them out white dog. But if you rolled an extra barrel, they're happy and they still want to pick the first one they tasted. They didn't care. So we survived that pick, head on over to Bullet. It's a good time. You get to really taste a variety of similar juice and really, try to fine tune things and pick what you're really into that day or experience wise.
How many barrels did you get there?
I think about 9.
So Benton did okay.
No, he was lobbying for 10. And she's like, look, the best part, have you guys agreed on a barrel yet? Like, yeah, we've liked 3 the whole time.
We just wanted to see if there was something better.
Yeah. She's like, well, in that case, no, we're not going for another one. And so they lobby for it. And she's fine. She's like, look, I've passed it through 3 groups already. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying if you've liked 3 from the get-go and it still went in these blinds, you're not taking this one, I can assure you. So we get through that and roll on back into town.
I'm surprised because normally Benton likes barrel number 2. Everywhere we go.
This was the one time we kind of harmonized. It was funny. It was a super sweet, you're not going to put this down kind of pour.
I get that with a lot of the bullets. The legacy pick, by the way, I just opened it a couple days ago. That's the same thing. I think you were on that pick as well. That's a bullet that is just super sweet, goes down easy. I think it's the 104 proof mixed with the recipes that they have up there. Just make them go down so easy.
But, and then you were with us Saturday. That got documented pretty well. JDBP, Wolfpack number 2. Always a fun time down there.
I want to say a special thank you to Misty. Set up the whole day for us. We did Jack Daniels in the morning, Old Foe at night. The best part about that is when Benton went into his whole thing, Goose did the pick with us. Anybody who's gone to Jack Daniels has to love Goose. Goose is a mainstay in the Squire house. He's worked at Jack Daniels for 45 years. Even if you have a pick with him or you don't, if you go to do a pick, they go, oh, just go wait in the Squire house with Goose, and then someone will come get you. So you get to sit around and talk to him, and he's got stories for days. And he did our pick because it was a Saturday. I don't think Chris was coming in on a Saturday. And then Benton goes like, hey, you think we could get another barrel? And Goose is just like, nope. You just got shut down.
Although I did think about it after the fact. Like, I wonder if I would have played the card like, man, it's my birthday and I'm a Squire. Is there one more somewhere?
I don't think he would have. Benton kind of pissed him off.
No.
I'm kidding. Benton didn't.
I don't pursue that angle. Granted, if there was a pick when they rolled us out, just all things we thought were subpar, I would probably let it be known I thought this wasn't quite up to snuff. But luckily, and I don't think it would ever change, there's always at least 2 of those 3 barrels at Jack that are more than pick worthy.
Yeah, there's always one that is very much like a regular Jack. And then there were 2 that we liked as a group. One was a little bit sweeter and one was a little bit more complex. Zeke, I know you were leaning a little bit towards the sweeter one. Everybody else really liked the complex one, the finish on the one that we picked. I just have to say, if you're listening, you're looking forward to the next Wolfpack pick. The finish on it is freaking crazy.
No, they were both really good. I thought somebody else liked the same one I did. I can't remember.
No,
but I wasn't the lone wolf of the Wolfpack on that.
You were. 100% you were. It was such a good barrel. Anyways, so we did that. Then we picked an OFO at night. That one was really good as well. Nice and sweet, typical OFO. I think it's 130 proof that we ended up going with.
They were all 3 close.
Yeah,
as far as proof.
We were torn between a 130 and a 132.
I mean, I thought most importantly from those that I've had, none of them were just a heat blast, which that's been the turnoff, I think, for anyone that's had those and not loved them is the one that just, all right, we all like proof and, it's fine and dandy, but when you're sitting there going, that's not really good tasting notes.
No, but that shooting star that you picked was same thing. I mean, nice and sweet. It was really good. I loved that one. Big weekend for us. And then it was Zeke's birthday on Sunday and we let him rest.
Yeah. I just waved goodbye to everyone and hung out with the kids. Ideal for the actual birthday.
It's a great birthday. Well, happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed it. I know we rambled a lot. I hope I can cut some of that down because not everybody is going to be as interested as we were in our crazy weekend.
But they will be interested when the picks show up. So it's kind of a balance.
Yes, you are 100% correct. We're trying to give them a taste of what the pick is going to be like when it shows up. You guys are going to like every single one of these. I'm pretty confident here. Let's get into what we're actually drinking tonight, and that is Sweetens Cove Batch 3. Again, we all know stats are important. I am about to run through the stats on this barrel, but stats are also important if you're using your sports book. And now there is a sports book out there by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. So what that means is if you are listening and you do not live in Tennessee, this sports book is not for you. This is action247.com. It is your place to get in on the action, and there's a lot of action coming up this weekend. The NFC and AFC championship games are this weekend. Tom Brady upset Drew Brees and the Saints, and now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski are going up against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I'm curious. I know you're not a big NFL guy. Who you got in this game?
Man, the Pack looks tough. I think they're still more well-rounded. You're going into Green Bay, and for as much as they built up the Brady Breeze matchup, I mean Rodgers ain't no chump. At this point, he's in the latter third of his career easily, maybe further down the road. So I can't see him having too many more big seasons.
Funny enough, this is going to be the oldest combined age of quarterbacks in an NFC championship game ever. And it's like 80 years and 272 days when you put these two together, which means Rodgers is 37, Brady is 43.
But yeah, I did think that was kind of funny. So much got made up of it. And I think especially if Breeze does retire, which it seems like he probably will, it's neat to see him go out against their peers like that and not some random young backup take them down or whatnot. But I'm still going, I think, Packers here. Home field advantage and whatnot. That's going to be tough. Plus, I feel like those guys are just more seasoned for that far into the postseason. Obviously, Brady's been there a ton, and I guess, Gronk, now he's with him again. But how many of those other guys for the Bucs have been there and dealt with the peripheral stresses that go on in something like this?
So on paper, you have to give it to the Packers. There's no other way to do it. The intangible here is how bad Brady wants to win away from the Patriots. He wants to show everybody that he could do it on his own. It wasn't Belichick. It was him. Yes, they were better together, but Brady wants to show that he is the GOAT. He wants it bad. I think even getting to the Super Bowl again with the Bucs this first season would prove it. I don't think he even has to win the Super Bowl. I think you are just forgetting how much Brady wants to win. He has that whole thing that Michael Jordan had, Larry Bird had, Magic Johnson had. They don't just want to beat you. They want to destroy you. I think that's the intangible, but on paper, Packers are probably going to win. Probably a game that I would stay away from on Action 24/7 because I think there's too much in the air. I think it's going to end up being a shootout between Brady and Rodgers. I think it could go either way. The next game, this one is pretty easy. You would think. The Buffalo Bills are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because we got to get to the whiskey. Big question mark with the fact that Patrick Mahomes left in the third quarter with a concussion. He is under concussion protocol. Chad Henne is the backup quarterback. The Bills are riding high on this momentum, winning playoff games for the first time in forever. If Mahomes is playing, it's easily the Chiefs. If Mahomes is not playing, well, now you got a question.
That Bills defense isn't scrubs either. So even if he's cleared, that doesn't mean he's not going to take a shot here and there. But to circle back to your little bit about Brady, because I know that's your boy. Yeah, remember there ain't no I in team, especially not football. And it's one of those famous Super Bowls that he lost earlier, as his wife profoundly said, he can't throw the effing ball to himself.
Go to action247.com, use code DADS100, and they will match your first deposit up to $100 as your initial deposit. Use code DADS100 at action247.com. Let's get into the whiskey finally. People are going to be pissed. This is Sweetens Cove Batch 3. It's funny that we are talking about football because Sweetens Cove is owned by Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, sportscaster Jim Nantz, tennis player Andy Roddick, and Tennessee singer-songwriter Drew Holcomb, who is incredibly talented. They signed on for this whole project along with Mark Rivers, all owned Sweetens Cove Golf Course outside Chattanooga together, and then they decided to go ahead and put out a whiskey, and they sourced some whiskey and got Marianne Eves to do their blending for them. So they've put out a whole bunch of batches now, I think 5 or 6 batches at this point. This is batch 3. It's 13 years old. The mash bill is 84, 8, and 8. They did not disclose where this whiskey was from, but you have a 13-year Tennessee bourbon. It's 84, 8, and 8. That is only coming from one place in Tullahoma, Tennessee. This is 50.25% ABV, 100.5 proof. Interesting thing about this one, and Zeke, pay attention to this part. The barrels were moved to a rickhouse in Kentucky before they were returned to Tennessee and sold to Sweetens Cove. Since Tennessee's state law requires a Tennessee whiskey to be 100% matured in state, these batches have been labeled as Tennessee straight bourbon as to comply with the state law.
So they did get the Lincoln County method, though.
It did, but then it had been moved to Kentucky and then moved back.
Yeah, just throwing things out there.
Oh, yeah. It's only being called a bourbon, not because it went through the Lincoln County method, as a lot of people say that's what makes Tennessee whiskey is going through the Lincoln County method. It's being called a bourbon because it got moved out of state and then moved back into the state.
Gotcha.
Kind of throws a wrench in that whole argument for Tennessee whiskey based off of the Lincoln County method. But
hey, there's just multiple layers there.
What did you think about this whiskey, Zeke Baker?
The nose, like a spicy butter. Some vanilla extract was in there with a little bit of air and kind of revisiting it. The sweet sides of it seemed to dissipate to me pretty quickly. And what was left was somewhere between clove and allspice, I kind of thought in my mind. Palate-wise, I thought it was super sweet at the first initial just intake, but then the minerals hit, and throughout the palate, throughout the tasting, this seemed of a, round and round, do-si-do, here we go, kind of a back and forth, just seemed to reoccur over and over between flashes of sweet, then just the minerals over the top. I put down that it was more or less like jabs versus uppercuts. Towards the back end, pick up a little bit of a mild spice, and the minerality is what hangs around at the finish, not the sweetness. If I had to describe this kind of abstractly, maybe like one of those songs where they say they get knocked down, but they get up again.
But you're never going to keep it down?
Well, no, they get knocked the hell back down, though. The sweetness just gets punched every time, like jabs versus uppercuts. Kind of reminded me of like, when you're a kid, if you were the little sibling and one of the older ones or a cousin or something would, grab your arms when you're trying to fight and wrestle with them. They're like, why do you keep hitting yourself? Why do you keep hitting yourself? You're working against yourself here. What are you doing? That's what this did. Every time the sweetness showed up, it hit itself in the face and knocked itself back down.
So you would say that it doesn't take its namesake?
Possibly. If the Cove is from natural spring water, because I grew up on well water, which is pretty heavy on minerals. So this could be like trying to impart a sweetened flavor into like wellish mineral water, and which would be in a cove.
It is funny. When you go up to Saratoga, the race course, they have the Travers there. They have some other good horse racing there. There is a fountain where you can drink the spring water that's coming from Saratoga Springs, and you taste it. It's super minerally. I did not get all the minerals in this. Funny enough, the nose just screamed corn to me. I got a huge whiff of corn on the nose with some leather, caramel and vanilla. The taste, I kind of felt like I got the rope-a-dope because, to use your boxing analogy, I was totally expecting the familiar corn kick on the taste. I did not get it. It was more caramel, leather, vanilla with a whole lot of black licorice. That was pretty prevalent for me. The finish I thought was okay. It lingered nicely, got a little bit of a hug with it, but the licorice stays around. I didn't get the typical Tullahoma vibe with this one, except for the nose. The taste and finish, I thought it blended nicely and went away. The nose was that familiar, right down the street thing.
Oh, I thought the minerals are pretty prevalent. I don't remember ever chewing or having a rock in my mouth necessarily, but that's just what you feel like it is. I mean, like if you ever been around you do any kind of work with stuff like that where it gets those small particles in the air and they just kind of inevitably end up in what you taste and feel in your nose. I mean, that was just it 100%. I mean, again, so many flashes of sweet, but then every time the little fella got halfway up, whop, right over the head, back down again, boy.
I think that's what the black licorice was for me. I think it could have gone. I mean, I could see kind of describing that as minerally, but I think it was a little bit sweeter than what I would associate with mineral water and that mineral rich environment. It was more sweet black licorice, which black licorice is not as sweet. If you're looking at like a red Twizzler versus a black Twizzler, the black one is going to have that different kind of taste. The red one is going to be the sweeter one, but it still is a little bit.
There's two red ones.
There are?
Oh yeah. They got those thicker ones that are strawberry now instead of the cherry.
You mean like the pull-and peels?
Yep.
Yeah. Those things taste completely. Those aren't real Twizzlers.
Either way, the licorice ones, I could only imagine like the disparity in how much one SKU sells compared to the other.
Yes. I can't imagine a whole lot of people are out there buying the pull-and peels.
Oh, no. The pull-and peels make money. I'm talking about the licorice versus like the OG or the other Twizzlers.
Oh, you mean like the black
The red
Twizzlers?
ones.
Oh, the red ones.
Yeah.
The regular red ones are my jam.
Yeah, the licorice versus the regular reds. I bet they have like production 1 week a year versus the other 51.
Yeah, it's regular red, all 51, and then black 1 week out of the year. I liked this okay. I think I'm saying okay. This would be a bar for me. Let's get that out of the way. But the bigger question I think that comes up out of all of this, they didn't tell us it's from here, but you're putting out Tullahoma juice, 13-year Tullahoma juice for $199. That to me, you could go get a Dickel pick for $50 and have the same thing. And I know that they're going to say, well, yeah, but Marianne Eaves didn't blend it. There are certain things, until somebody can blend Dickel out of Dickel, it's not a $200 bottle for me.
I'm surprised the Rock's not in on this.
The Rock has like a gin company or a vodka or something like that.
There's a subtle troll right there, don't you?
I know the troll's there, buddy.
Are you sure?
If you have to explain your troll, then it's just not worth it. Sorry, Zeke. The Rock has tequila. It's Terramana tequila. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Maybe it'll be in the TV show.
Maybe. The whole story about how he started his tequila company is like season 8.
Season 8. God, we old by then.
I mean, I think that's the thing is you have all these famous people around this bottle, and I think that upped the price. You think of some of the other things that have come out that have been 13-year similar product, like the Resilient stuff. All of that was around $100. This is about $100 too high. Yes, does it come in a nice box? Is there a nice presentation? Does the bottle look nice? All that being said, they did a great job marketing it, but when you take away that stuff and you're really just looking at the whiskey naked, it's not a $200 bottle of whiskey.
I would almost lightly venture off down the rabbit hole of simply, when you've got that many big name and inevitably big money investors, and also talking to friends of ours that have had access to very similar barrels recently and knowing what they cost, why do they need to come in at that price point? They ain't eating Lunchables.
I guess you start a business to make money and you try to make as much money as you can. And this is one of those brands where their distribution, they're not putting out cases and cases and cases and cases and cases. I mean, this is not like a 30,000 bottle run of this. So you just have to sell a small amount of this to pay for it and then some. And then you're going to put it into the golf course because they all own the golf course together. So as long as they sell it, they're doing, from a business standpoint, they're doing okay. I just think as a consumer, it's not my jam.
I mean, it sounds more to me like pay for it and then a lot of some, not then some.
And I know
some is in SUM, like the dollars.
Somebody brought this up to us, and I think you missed this in a group chat that we had with them. But they're like, how come you guys don't talk about secondary more? And I was like, we used to talk about secondary all the time. People started getting upset at how much we talked about things like that. But I think it comes down to like where I think secondary can be very important in this area is you could see what the hype is around a bottle. This is not going above retail very much. And you're not finding a lot of these on secondary. So it's either everybody that gets it wants to drink it or they're getting it. It's like, I don't know. Until they have a bottle that can blend the Tullahoma out and not give me that corny nose. And I mean, there's still even a little bit of corn on the taste. Some people like that. If that's what you like, go get this bottle. If you like a certain distillery out of Tullahoma and that's your jam and you go there all the time and you really like that profile, you will not be disappointed with this bottle. And it looks great on your shelf. But if you dislike that profile, this is not going to be your jam.
To me, the toughest part of it is just literally how vast of, continual 180s it does. I could see where somebody might try to call that complexity, but to me, you'd have to put an asterisk or something there and be like, well, it's complexity without synergy because you're getting two opposite profiles, two opposite senses. Nothing about it flows and just, gives you that full on, riding the wave or whatever.
Yeah. The nose and the palate don't match 100%.
Even the palate itself doesn't to me. I mean, between the sweet and then that minerality or whatever you want to call it on the back end, it's just poop, 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 just constant turns.
And I almost wonder, is that a limitation of the whiskey that's being used? I think Marianne is very talented. I just think it's very hard when you're given the foundation that is corn heavy to kind of take that away. There are going to be some people that really like corn heavy. There's going to be some people that really like sweet more. There's going to be people that really like oak more. There's all different profiles. And that's a beautiful thing about whiskey is you can find the whiskey that you're looking for someplace. The corn aspect of this is very divisive for people. Until you blend that away and either get to a sweet or an oaky profile, I don't know. I still think it's tough for people to get on board.
Yeah, at least from me and my preferences, I would at least want to have one or the other, not both, or find things that complement it more, not just such a yin and yang kind of thing.
Not to go round and round in circles. Where are you on this one?
The price point's just too steep for me. And there's just too many other offerings for Tullahoma juice in the market, either under the Dickel label or others that have similar, if not maybe even a more likable profile to me, especially some of those picks that are done, I think at 103 or 104 proof, similar to when we talked about Bullet earlier. It takes the edge off of some possible roughness while still leaving enough bang for your buck. That's where I go in some of the Tullahoma juice I can say I've honestly enjoyed.
I will happily drink this anytime I'm golfing at Sweetens Cove. Anytime I'm lucky enough to get out there, I'll happily have this. That's about it.
Good luck getting out there for what I hear from people.
I know. And I will happily drink this if I can get out there on that course. Thank you to the folks at Sweetens Cove for sending us this whiskey. We really appreciate it. It had no effect on our review. We respect all the work that went into it. Zeke, the folks can find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Find us wherever you download your podcast. Chances are you already have because you're listening to us right now. Where else can the folks find us, Zeke Baker?
Both in Nashville for at least the next short future. We kind of shot our wad for Q1 already.
Yeah, we did. Cheers.
Ciao.